Hello, guys. Welcome to the breakdown. How's everybody doing? Johanna, are you getting ready for your vacation, your holiday?
I am. I'm pretty much ready. I just have to go to sleep and get up and get on a plane.
So as you guys, for our newbies here who are just joining the show, Johanna is getting ready to go on her holiday for her birthday adventure and to get away a little bit. I'm super jealous.
I have travel fever. I spent 2 years traveling on it for retreats and all this other stuff. And since all this has happened, I haven't been able to go anywhere. So I'm like so excited to get on a plane.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. If you guys are on the channel, just to remind you guys to go ahead and hit like. Don't forget to subscribe. We are very excited for tonight's episode. We have been trying to get Suntara on the show for over a year, and it just didn't work out last season. So we were still trying to, we were still new. We were still trying to get the show on board. And now we finally got him in for the season. So we're really excited to have him on board. Man, let's just talk about sound healing before we bring him on here. I just love music all in general, but the best thing about music is just the vibrations and the fact that sound healing that's what it's about.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you've experienced it, but I've been to a lot of sound healings, live performances, not with Suntara, but some other ones that are local around here. But I've listened to him on Facebook for over a year now. And I've loved listening to him, but I get such effects from music. I mean, it really puts me in the mood when I'm trying to get that stress level down, or if I'm trying to relax, or if I'm trying to raise my vibration. Do you feel that way too? Do you get that way?
Well, I listen to certain frequencies every night, overnight. So I have 8-hour tracks. And then I just recently I've been to a few live sound healings and I do really enjoy them, but I just recently had someone make me a custom piece. And so that's the even cooler part about it, is if you hire someone to make you a custom piece, it's tailored to you. And so it is, it's just really nice. It's such an enjoyable thing.
Yeah, it really is. So I don't want to wait too long because I have lots of questions for him, and we're going to have a performance by him too. But just to give you an introduction, Suntara means bringing light to the earth, and that is his sole intention with his sound healing and music. With his unique and powerful voice that is often described as otherworldly, the sound vibrations that Suntara channels penetrates deep, moving, and shifting energy, leaving the audience feeling light, clear, and deeply relaxed. He recently completed a 27 world tour with sold-out events in 11 countries, guys.
That's impressive.
I know, right? Traveling with his wife and twins, and this was the best part about this when I read this, was their world traverse were sustained completely by the tour. This is what it is when you go into your passions as a light worker and you just follow your dream. So without further ado, let's bring Suntara on. Hello.
Hello from Australia.
Yeah. Completely different. You're obviously not on world tours right now with the shutdowns and everything else. And we really
plan to be.
Yeah, plan to be. But things shift for a reason. So this is the big test for us as healers. How we can adjust to these changes. So that's always the big deal, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So let me ask you, because I am very curious about how you got into sound healing, because it's one thing to be a musician, but to pick the selection of, I want to be a sound healer, because, you could just have been a musician and just played music in that way. What really embraced you to mix and infuse both of that?
Yeah, it's a powerful story. And it actually also talks to the power of sound healing by telling you this story. The reason I'm a sound healer, it really chose me because it absolutely changed my life. So I was a computer programmer, believe it or not. So I studied computer programming at university, and I did that for 10 years. And, you know, I was working in IT, and in 2006, I was in London working in an office building, investment banking, and I'd just been traveling for 2 years around South America. And when I got to that job, because I went to this job because I needed the money, I was finding it very distressing to be in the office, right?
Yeah.
So I remember I couldn't even sit at my desk for more than an hour without having to go outside and try and find some sort of connection with nature. So, but I thought, I need to get through this 6-month contract, and I'm not handling this very well. So I need to find something that's going to help me to get through this. So I found out that a friend of mine who was an opera singer was running a sound healing, and I didn't know too much about sound healing. So I went to one of his evenings, and I just got completely cleared out of my stress. And I was able to go to work the next day, and I felt okay. And I wasn't trying to escape every 2 hours to try and get some sort of connection, because I felt much more connected. So that really helped me. I kept going back to his sessions. But the biggest thing that happened was I took a week off my job, and I went up to Scotland to a place called Findhorn. And it's a spiritual centre in Scotland. And when I was at Findhorn, I met my soulmate. I met a wonderful woman from Venezuela. And we had such a connection. And like, she lived in London, I lived in London, so it was a good opportunity for us to be together. But I was all in my head thinking, she's from Venezuela, I'm from Australia, don't go starting the long distance thing. You know, I had all these reasons. She's too good for you, buddy. You'd be punching above your weight, blah, blah, blah. And so all that was happening. So I didn't pursue the relationship with her, even though I really liked her a lot. And so this went on for months, me hesitating, not calling her, not stepping into this relationship. I totally could have lost her. And it was a day I went for a sound healing. It was a private sound healing with my sound healer, Alexander. And after that session, I was all out of that fear. And I went down to the train station to go back to London. And I called her, and we've been married for 13 years now.
That's amazing.
That's an awesome love story.
I love that story.
So what do you think cleared it? Was it that it brought you to the present, or do you feel it really cleared energetically wise some of the blocks that you had?
It cleared a lot of stuff energetically. It brought me to peace. You know, it got me out of my head. Okay. This is what it did, because it was all head stuff. You know, what if it, you know, what if this, what if that, you know, it's too long a distance, all the head stuff. And that, I found myself after that session, I was in my heart, and my heart was saying, man, this woman's amazing. What are you doing? It doesn't matter about the distance and all that crap. Just call her and take it a day at a time.
I think that, and I think you really nailed it. And that's what I was trying to, you know, see where it was coming from, is that it got you out of your head, because it's a form of mindfulness, especially with music. So I'm always intrigued by it. But also, I would like to try to get some information onto you with different instruments and so forth. As do you find that specific sounds do clear different things?
In different people, you know, this is the thing. It's so taste based, and so different vibrations hit different people in different ways. Like, I'll do a sound healing, and someone will come up to me afterwards and say, "Oh, the flute took me on a journey, and I
love the flute.
Got a message about something." Or someone else will say, "That drumming, it went through my body and it cleared so much sadness." Or, you know, the crystal bowl, it just, you know, it cleared my heart. You know, it's so individual, the way that people experience it, because we're working with vibration. And like I like to say, you know, you find in the new age circles, people saying to each other, like, they'll say to me, "Hey, that crystal bowl, is that for the heart chakra?" And I say, "Well, whose heart chakra? You know, and what day. And you know, there's got to be marketing, I guess, in
Yeah.
these worlds, but
Yeah.
it is marketing.
Mhm.
So as Jonathan Goldman, famous American sound healer, says, sound plus intention equals healing. Sound plus intention equals healing. So it's much more about intention than it is about what instrument it is. And sometimes it's not about intention either. It's just that person gets what they need in that moment from that instrument, because the intelligence, the higher intelligence, knows what they need. So we're letting go to that.
Now, would you have considered yourself a musician prior to any of this, or did you just fall into it kind of?
I've always been fairly natural musician and singer, but it was very blocked in me. I didn't become a singer until I was 30, so I'm 45 now. And what liberated me to be able to do this work was something called rebirthing breathwork.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually met Leonard Orr, the founder of Rebirthing, in 2005, and went on a bit of a journey with him, and it cleared so much insecurity. It cleared so much of my blocks around music and relationships as well. Like the following year is when I met my wife. So yeah, I found that rebirthing helped me so much. The gentle form of breath work, not the cathartic form, the gentle form of breath work.
Right.
And I combine the two now. That's what I combine, breath work and sound healing. So
that's pretty amazing how you were able to take like your own unique modalities together, but to see how it cleared you and to be able to do that for others too. Because I do find that you have so much of that mix when I'm listening to you, is that you really have, and I love your guided meditations as well, is that you really do take people on a journey and you leave it open for them. So I always love that about that I have always appreciated it, because sometimes people will be very narrow on where they're taking you. But I really, I mean, you just utilize the sound. So you're just going with it. So I really love it and appreciate that about you.
Oh, thank you.
Do you find that you have particular favorite instruments that you like to play, or that like really call to you that like, this is what I usually do the most of?
Yeah, it's evolved over the years. You know, I love singing with crystal bowls. I always have. I love drumming and singing. But over the last 18 months, I've picked up the didgeridoo, so I've really started to enjoy playing that. And also I've picked up the handpan, so I love singing with the handpan. So yeah, everything really, because every single instrument invokes different sound, and every different key of every different instrument invokes different sound. You know, being a vocal channel, I get invoked by the instruments, but also get invoked by other musicians that I'm playing with as well. And that's what the whole spontaneity piece is about.
That has to be so amazing, just to be able to channel with music. Like, I wish I could do something in that aspect. Like, that's pretty awesome. I just feel like to be able to sing it, or just be able to, like, I get so amazed by this. There's a couple of other channelers who did that. I think the other one is Shakina. Like, she's considered herself a Blu-ray, but she never sung. And then, you know, when she started channeling, she started singing, and she was like in her 40s. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, all of a sudden, I'm like, how does this happen? So I always think it's amazing when people really follow their passions, or they just find their niche and that's what they're in, and it's really changing people's lives. Now, you have, how did you start out on this? I mean, did you just like locally just do some shows, or did you use, social media mostly, or how did you start about?
It's a great question. It was quite a long journey, because when I started, my twins were born at that time. So it was pretty much all hands on deck back then. So my twins were born in Brazil, and then we went to Venezuela. We ended up in Australia, and I just started doing some little events, and back in 2011. And I didn't really get it going past 10 or 20 people for many years at my events, and it was really necessity. In about 2016, I was cleaning houses and driving Uber to keep my dream alive, just doing these side hustles while I kept my dream alive, because I didn't want to go back into IT. And I was cleaning a toilet one day, and I just broke down and started crying, because I just absolutely hated cleaning toilets, and I just broke down and cried, and I went home to my wife and I said, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do 108 sound healings in a year. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And so I did that. I did 108 sessions in a year in Australia. And then I bought this online course teaching. It was basically teaching me how to sell my music online. But I reverse engineered the course and used it to start to sell my tickets to my events online using Facebook. And as soon as I worked out how to sell tickets online using Facebook, my events just exploded.
Wow. Wow. I loved how that I mean, this is one of the other reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, not just for your story, because this is how, especially when you have light workers and they follow their passions, it's really important to hear their story of how they got there or the blocks that they've been through. Yeah. And what I find particular with your story is like, you just went in action mode. You're like, okay, even if I fail, I'm doing it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And I think that's so important because people just give up. I think it's like if they get to the point and they think that this is their life, that's what they got to do. They got to clean toilets or it's only a side job. And it's all these limited beliefs that people get stuck on. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Johanna? Like it's just like the limited beliefs that gets people in that notion that they can't move forward.
Yeah, that and just, I think there's a lot of factors involved, but there's definitely a lot of limiting beliefs there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's amazing to me to see that you were able to do that and then utilize really going into music and using social media and being able to get where you are. So tell me about this tour, because I'm like intrigued that you were able to travel that much with your entire family, right?
Especially with twins. Like you get an award just for that.
It was amazing. I mean, I'll give you, it's a very long story, but I'll tell you the main bits. So back in September 2016, we had left Sydney and sold all of our possessions, and we moved into a friend's house. They are away in Europe touring, and when that time finished, my wife and I looked at each other and said, "Do we really want to get furniture again?" And the answer was no. We had no money. I bought a pickup truck on my credit card. Seriously, and we hit the road with my sound healing, and I didn't even have any events booked. And things started to roll, and I started to get some events. And around that time, I worked out how to start to sell my events using Facebook. And people were offering us places to stay everywhere, so we didn't have to pay for accommodation. Like
that's nice.
Like, I met this church pastor who came to one of my events, very open-minded church pastor, and he said, that's a church pastor. You think I'm talking about the pastor?
You're good. You're good. I know what you're talking about.
All right, good. Church pastor. And, he gave us a place to stay whenever we wanted in Sydney. And then I met another woman who gave me a place to stay up in Queensland anytime we wanted it. And we just asked, because I knew that if I had to pay for hotels, we weren't going to be able to do it. So we just continued like that through Australia for 17 months and just went event to event. And I declared that I had a goal to save $20,000 for us to go on a world tour. And by the time I did this car repair and bought flights, we had like $12,000 left, which is like 8,000 US. So we left Australia with 8,000 US, which is not much for 4 people. And we just rolled the events. Malaysia went well. Singapore didn't go so well, Portugal didn't go so well. But along the way, I was realizing what was working and what wasn't. And then by the time we went to the UK, we broke even, and we were instead of spending my savings, we were going event to event and paying our way. And then by the time we got to Ireland, I'd worked out how to make it profitable and we actually came out of Ireland with more money than we went in there with, which was amazing with the family. So it was really a case of you don't know unless you go. It was incredibly, I mean, I do experience a lot of fear, but I go through it. My wife, has so much faith. You know, if it wasn't for her, oh my God, you know, she's just got so much faith. Nothing scares her.
That's the nice support system right there.
Yeah. So it was really just a case of going. You never know unless you go, and just
Right.
going and just trusting the universe and trusting that it was all going to work out.
Do
And
you
it did.
go ahead? Oh,
Yeah, no,
you said it
that's
did. Did
It
you
did
do
work
you
out.
find you know, you talked about music being an individual experience for your audience and everyone. Do you find a common thing that is cleared in a lot? Is it primarily stress? Is it just letting go, relaxing? Because everybody comes for different reasons. I'm assuming when they go to sound healing, or do you find that people are curious and not knowing what sound healing is and they're just showing up?
I think it's amazing when they turn up and they don't know what it is. Like I
Yeah.
love it when women drag their husbands along to my events, and the husband's like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" And they have no expectations, and they come out of it going, "Oh my God, like that happened."
Right.
Whereas the women go in with expectations, and they don't get what they want. But yeah, like I think the common thing is that it stills the mind and it brings the body mind into relaxation. And when you drop someone into relaxation, and also the sound does clear things out like waves on an ocean, because we are over 60% water, right? So these sound waves, they clear out vibrations. So when we have the clearing and the body relaxes, and when that happens at the same time, people have all manner of different experiences and releases. But it comes from that, the change of state that happens because of the sound. So, you know, I could tell you hundreds of different things that have happened to people. Probably couldn't name them all on the spot right now, but there's been so many different aspects of healing that I've heard about through this over the years. Yeah.
Do you find, like I always see things when I'm looking for music or meditation music where it's like they always put down what the megahertz are. It's like 420 or 520. Do you see the difference in that, or how it's clearing? Do you know? Can you explain a little bit what that is for our audience?
That's an amazing question. It's the $1 million question in sound healing. Yeah, there's the solfeggio frequencies and all that sort of thing. And yeah, I'm sure that they definitely have their own unique effects. But I'm more of the school of thought of the sound plus intention equals healing. And you know, I feel like if I'm playing a song in 440, which is what you're not supposed to use, with from a heart, that's much better than someone playing in 432. Just thinking the frequency is going to do everything, but really it's the frequency of the practitioner coming out through the sound as well. So I personally, and I'm not saying the other way is wrong at all. Personally, I don't get caught up in the frequencies. I just channel and trust the frequency, especially the frequency that comes through on my voice. Because I can't measure in the moment when I'm singing if I'm singing in solfeggio or what.
Right.
But I know that it feels good, and I know that it feels like it's right and it's coming out. And you know, the vast majority of the time, the people who are receiving it get vast benefits. And if they don't, it's because it's triggered something in them, which is also a healing. You know.
Now, do you find that, you know, if you're doing a performance, everything's a little bit different, or depending on what you're channeling or what your intentions are that you bring in, that a song can completely sound different from what it was before? Or have you gone on the fly there as well with your channeling and just let it happen?
Well, that's all I do. I like every time I go live on Facebook, it's a new song, and it's done in the moment.
Yeah, that's what I always think is so impressive with you, is that it's really just, it's there, like you're just doing it. And it's so natural and it's impressive. It really is. It's impressive because a lot of people get hung up on like what a musician is or how they do it. But honestly, if it's something that's natural to you and it's a passion, it's just your heart. It's just coming out. So it's really cool that you can do that, you know, especially for your audience, and that you can do it live. Like, I mean, how cool
Right.
is it? I mean, depending on, I mean, I know that we're in a really, not the best situation here with COVID and all that, but like, how amazing is that you went on the social media platforms way before even all this came in, and you're like, you can still do that, right? I mean, you can still have, online virtual, musicians and, all of that aspect of just having it all there. Like you already went through that.
Yeah, what I love the most is that people feel it through the phone, even if they're just listening to it through the phone. Those sound vibrations reach them, and I can do a live event in Australia for 60 people or whatever, but I can reach a couple of thousand or so through Facebook Live at a
Yeah.
time, and there's all the comments that I get and all the messages, but then there's the rest of the people who don't even write to me who get benefit, so
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not saying that to blow my trumpet or anything. It's just, I'm just saying that's great that we're able to that I'm able to send that frequency through the Facebook Live, and it affects people in a positive way, or it shifts something in them, or it gives them some relief. A lot of people are feeling a lot of stress right now. They're feeling a lot of grief, sadness, and worry. And if I can transmit something through the phone that allows them to have some relief from that, that's.
Yeah. I think that's so important
sign
right
me up.
now. Yeah. I mean, I think it's so important right now. I mean, Johanna, we were just talking before we had our pre-show. Johanna was like, I've seen so many musicians going on doing live concerts now, and it's just so healing. Even if you're not a sound healer, music can still be healing. So there's things of it people can they're resonating to it. So it's so important that people feel that, or just being able to get out of their head, like you said. So it is really definitely an important role right now for musicians. And, I think it's amazing with how much people have come together, using social media and different platforms.
Yeah, a friend of mine calls it Grace Book.
Grace Book.
Yeah, because it depends on how you look at it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So do you do, just so we can learn a little bit about you, other than concerts, do you do private sessions as well? I mean, because I saw that you also are a vocal coach, but you also do private healing sessions, which I thought was interesting too. Is that something that you would, you can tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the two remote online sessions that I offer one-on-one is voice liberation. So, it's a voice session to help people get their voices out at that raw level, get that raw vibration out. Because, you can do singing lessons to refine your voice, but if you don't allow yourself to liberate the raw power, then, it's really important to liberate that raw power. So I help people to liberate the vibration of their voice, because what we're doing with the voice box is creating vibration, which is received as sound. So helping people to expand that vibration that they're producing with their voice.
What if you're not a singer? Like, so I've been told that I will be able to sing, but when I do healings, I do toning and I speak light language, and I do all different pitches, and sometimes I go super deep, and sometimes I can go for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes in one stretch, which is not something I normally can do. It's all comes through channeled, but I feel like I'm not giving it my full power. Like, is that something you could help with?
Absolutely. That's most of the people I help with this are people who are doing stuff like that. It sounds like you're already channeling, you're already
I'm already doing all that.
You're already bringing through amazing vibration with your voice and with your light language. So just to expand that and clear it out a little bit more, so it comes through, more truly from your heart, just to get those blocks out of the way, the head stuff, and whatever else is there that may be getting in the way, basically, of. I mean, look, it's a journey. You're not going to fully ever get out of the way, right? It's a flower that's constantly opening, right? This is the voice. There's no destination, but just to go a few steps or a few miles down the road with that journey with the voice is something I'm very passionate about. So the other session that I offer online is a rebirthing breathwork sound healing. So I will guide someone in the rebirthing breath over Skype and do a sound healing with it. And, breath work's very powerful. So we keep it very gentle. We keep it very safe. We're not doing the scream fest type breath work. We're doing the,
You're not doing breath of fire?
No.
The breath of fire.
No,
Yeah.
the original rebirth thing that Leonard taught me, he was always about gentleness. Because, what I like to say is that we don't heal trauma with trauma, okay?
Yeah.
And a teacher of mine said it really amazing the other day. If a seed sprouted and the sprout grows too fast, then the sprout's just going to fall over, right? And that's healing. And you see a lot of people right now, and I'm not knocking them, they all are searching, but they do too much plant medicine, or they do too much this, or they do too much that, and their consciousness expands too quickly and their body can't keep up. So
it's a big problem right now. It's a big problem.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, what I'm bringing with the breath work is to bring something that's really gentle, really patient. Like I say, why don't we breathe so we carve out relaxation like a river carves out a canyon? We're not trying to make anything happen, just that gentleness, that patience. And then you get a session that's something that the person's ready for. And then, then they can integrate it within a couple of days and they're okay. They haven't had their third eye ripped open or their mind blown. We don't want.
This sounds powerful. It sounds like something I would sign up for. Like I love, meditation saved my life, but breath work was so important for me. So I love that you mix the modality of that and with sound. And I think that's pretty amazing. So
if you haven't done breath work, it'd probably be a good place to start. I do breath work every day, but I'm not so gentle. I'm a Kundalini girl.
Like anything, is the yin and the yang, and they both have their place.
Yeah.
Rebirthing definitely has a bit of yang in it, but the overall, spirit of rebirthing breathwork is very much yin, and just allowing people to drop into deep relaxation so that their body can release what it's ready to release, rather than pushing something out.
Yeah, I need that. I need more yin in my life.
Yeah.
For sure. So
it's definitely available to you.
So because we're getting here on the half-hour point, I really wanted to have you perform a little bit and to give you that space. And then before I ask you a couple more questions before we run out of the show, would you mind getting started a little bit on a little bit of a sound journey for us?
Yeah, we can do that. You want me to do the sound now? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so we can go in there, and this way give you time and space, and we can chit chat a little bit after.
Okay.
All right.
So I've got a big drum here. It's a shamanic drum, and so what I'm going to do is a little two-part sound healing here. We'll do the drum with the voice. This is more sort of to clear energy. More, it might even feel it might even feel intense for some people. And then, but just be with the intensity and just allow the sound to wash over you and wash through you. And then I'm going to switch to the hand pan and do something that's much more gentle and much more yin. So we got the yang with the drum, and then we go into the yin with the hand pan, and just give you a miniature sound healing for about 15 minutes.
Sounds great. All right, I'm going to give you the floor.
Awesome.
That was amazing.
It truly was.
I really love
Thank
the
you.
sound of the drums on that.
You wanted? I was going to continue with the handpan. We
Yeah,
can do that
keep
a
going.
bit
I just
later.
wanted to let you know. Clap, clap, clap. I had to jump in and tell you. I liked how you were doing like there was like almost like a vibrato. I don't know if I'm using the right word, but it felt like you had like this like almost like this howly sound that I liked in the middle of it. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's I got this. I call it vibrational singing.
Yeah, that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When that happens for me, I literally get like fire coming out. My breath is so hot. Do you get that? Do you
No,
get a
but that's
heat that
amazing.
comes out? Okay,
Not
I'm just a
really.
weirdo.
No, you're not.
I don't.
You're obviously working with fire energy.
Yeah, Johanna, you're a lot lower too when you got your tone too, because I'm always amazed when you were toning how low you were. Like
I
that's
can
what
go
I
really
always
low.
noticed. I was like, "What the hell?" I feel like I got a bass drum.
I can go really low and high, but I always surprise myself because I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. But I
Yeah.
recognize that what he was doing, that happens to me. I don't even know how I do it, but I get this heat that comes. And so I'm just excited to see someone else do something similar. And I'm like, I have questions.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I stopped him in midway. I was like, "Well, let's get him on." I am so listen, when you're just because I'm just so amazed by this. So when you're like just playing the drums and you're just letting the tones come in, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Like what is the feelings that are going through you? Because I feel like that resonates in the music. Like
I feel like I'm just clearing out. It's almost like I start to feel the energy of the group or the mass consciousness,
yeah.
and I just try and clear that within me. And I'm feeling in my body where the different tones are. I'm not usually thinking about it too much, just really letting it flow, letting it flow.
Like I just thought it was interesting because I felt very grounded. Like I felt very grounded when I was listening to you because of the vibrations that you had in there. So I'm going, I wonder if he realizes that he's grounding, like he feels grounded, or if it's just something where he's like putting the intention, I'm gonna ground or I'm gonna do this.
My
So I
third
was
eye was
curious.
going like insane. And my third eye's been being messed with all day today, but I was like pinks and purples and it was just like all over the place. It was nice.
Yeah. We got Lynette on
Yes.
here who said it was fantastic. Got a lot of people on here who loved it.
And like it's just you both had a different experience, so that's just an example of how sound
Yeah.
connects with people in different ways.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's why I kind of wanted to stop in way because I wanted to be like, so Johanna, how do you feel? Like what did you get out of
Like you
that?
can just keep playing. I'm gonna take a nap now.
All right, well, we'll let you go. Keep continuing. We just wanted to
Yeah,
stop
well,
in
I've got
between.
just so you know, there is an instrument here. It's just out
Oh,
of shot.
all righty. All right. We believe it. What do we thought you're gonna hit the we believe that you're not Milli Vanilli. You're okay.
I certainly don't have the hair for it.
We believe it's coming out of you.
Yeah.
Without further ado, here we are. Here's Suntara.
Awesome.
Wow. So let me ask you, when did you because what kind of drum was that?
Oh, I can't hear for some reason.
Oh,
Oops.
can you hear it now?
I
Technical
think
difficulties, so hopefully you can hear us now.
I can't hear.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's better.
Is that better? So Lynette says that her hands are hot and vibrating. I'm around a fire. There's dancing and chanting. Something is placed on my head, surround my head, a bag or pouch or
I can't
something.
hear anything.
Nothing?
Can't hear anything.
Oh,
I don't know why.
hopefully we can. Johanna can hear. Can you talk and see if he can hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Huh.
That's
Oh, there you go, Johanna. You're on the show.
I know my hands so my hands always, when they activate, I feel swirling energy on both hands. And so I had that, but I had some other stuff happen and I just experienced some things. We'll just put it at that.
Yeah.
It was very powerful.
Yeah.
That's great. I can't hear Tanya Lee.
That's so weird.
I don't know why. It's so strange. Tanya,
Well, let me try to jump off real quick and jump
might have to do
back
some
in.
translating.
she's gonna jump on and jump back on.
Did that work? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
And
So maybe.
I've got a big pause symbol in front of my face, but hopefully you can still see me.
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of drum was that you were playing?
That's a hand pan.
It's a hand pan.
Yeah.
It looks like a turtle shell. That's pretty cool looking.
So it's like an inverted steel drum.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's right. Because it's usually you see that inside.
If I just angle down a bit, I'll just show you a little bit. Just play it.
It's so beautiful.
I think it definitely sounds different than a steel drum.
Oh yeah. It's much softer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to learn all of this? Like, did you just go, once you started listening to it and going to your sound healer, did you just start buying stuff and just playing with it, or did you get trained?
No training really. Not even much vocal training. Just doing it.
That's the best way.
I was naive. I was naive and bold enough, not bold enough. Bold enough too. I was naive and bold enough to think that I could just start doing sound healings in front of people.
Hey,
So I did.
It works.
I mean, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah. I learned on the job, and I learned from watching people. I've met masters of different instruments and just watched them. Like I remember back in the beginning when I was playing a crystal bowl, I was very harsh, and I just met someone who played them properly, and I just watched them and thought, okay, I'm not playing them properly. I need to play them like this, and just just be teachable and learn from observation. But things like handpan is pretty much pentatonic. I mean, you can't really hit a wrong note. It's taken me.
I guarantee you I could. I guarantee you I could. I am not musically inclined. But go ahead. Keep going.
But over time. So I've been playing for about a year and a half, the handpan. So I'm by no means a advanced handpan player. I just play instruments enough to be able to support my voice, really.
Colleen said that she saw a violet light and her upper back was warm. It's really interesting to see everybody's different reactions to your music, where people were, because I don't know if you heard me when I was mentioning Lynette's one, but she also felt hot and she was vibrating and she felt like she was surrounded in a fire, dancing and chanting. So it's really interesting to get everybody's, feelings of what they experienced.
It's all just what I like to say is it's all just experience of moving life energy. It's energy is moving. So when energy moves because of the sound, we can experience a whole lot of different things, like shaking, like hot, like cold, visions and colors, so many different things that you can experience. Expect the unexpected.
Yeah. I find when I go to, it's a little bit different when I think you go to an actual performance for sound healing, but I find with the bowls, there's something about bowls that, like, the way it surrounds me and goes through my ears, it has a way of creating colors in my head. And that's something that I've always found really interesting, was the colors that I saw, because I never used to see that with music till I got, was dealing with crystal bowls and that. So it was really interesting to see what you said, because you mentioned colors and what people see, or if they see visions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many different things can happen.
Yeah, it really is.
Some of the experiences that I've heard over the years just blow your mind.
So go ahead, Johanna.
Do you sell pieces? Like, do you have a website where you have made like custom like, this is for this and this is for that, where people could just buy them and download them?
I haven't really got to doing them for specific things, but I have many albums. I have like 8 albums. Okay. Because all of my albums pretty much were recorded live when I captured, good runs of sound. That's
right.
Like I've got an album called A Musical Trip Around the Cosmos, and I recorded 30 of my sessions on my world tour, and I curated them down to one album, and of the best bits that I thought that I'd recorded. So, I do stuff like that. So that's all on suntarashop.com is where I sell my music.
Awesome. I put up your Facebook, since I know that we mentioned that Suntara music is really big for your Facebook. So that's up on screen right now, guys. And you can see all that information in the description box below as well. We really appreciate you being on the show. We'd love to have you back.
I'll be in touch next month for sure.
for your coaching. I want to do the breath work. I'm really into that. So I will definitely be in touch as well. But we absolutely are very grateful for you to be on the show and for sharing your story. What an adventure for you. And I will continue to watch you, because I just love to see how much you grow and how you're growing, and to see where you're going to be going and how much you're going to be changing and evolving, because that's the fun part, is to watch that in people's journeys. So thank you so much for your time, guys. Just a reminder, for next week, we still have our live show, but guess what? Johanna's not going to be here. That means Tanya is taking over the show. So, Harmonia Tarot will be on here doing readings. I'm going to be doing readings for you guys. There's going to be giveaways. I have some fun stuff to give away. So guys, you're going to want to tune in. And yes, while Johanna is partying, we are going to be partying too. So be sure to tune in next week, guys. All right. And we will see you guys next time. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.